This is the kind of update that sends absolute ripples through the Twin Cities. And honestly, if you are a true fan of the purple and gold, you need to lean in and listen closely, because this is a classic Schefter bomb that just hit the wires. We are talking about the Minnesota Vikings front office making calculated, strategic strikes to bolster a roster that is already undergoing a massive transformation under the leadership of Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. This is urgent news because in the NFL, the season never truly ends, and the moves made in the quietest hours of the offseason are often the ones that determine who is holding the Lombardi Trophy come February. Before we dive into the deep end of these specific signings and what they mean for the defensive rotation, I need you to do something for me. Hit that like button right now and subscribe to the channel. We are providing you with the most up-to-the-minute insider information on the Vikings that you simply cannot find anywhere else. If you want to stay ahead of the curve, this is your home. Also, I want to hear from the Skol Nation. Tell me in the comments, where are you watching from today? Whether you are in Minneapolis, across the pond in London, or anywhere else in the world, drop your location below. Now, let's get into the heart of the story. Sources are telling me that the Minnesota Vikings have officially signed defensive lineman Jaylon Hutchings and linebacker Jacob Roberts to reserve/future contracts. Now, for the casual fan, a reserve/future contract might sound like a footnote, but for those of us in the know, this is a clear indication of how the Vikings are scouting for high upside talent. Jaylon Hutchings is a name that has been circulating in scouting circles for quite some time. Coming out of Texas Tech, he was known for being an absolute wrecking ball in the middle of the defensive line. We are talking about a guy who played nearly 60 games at the collegiate level, showing incredible durability and a motor that simply does not quit. He was a force in the Big 12, and after a stint in a rival league where he continued to prove his worth, the Vikings saw enough to bring him into the fold. He is often described as a squatty nose tackle with a low center of gravity that makes him nearly impossible to move in the run game. When you look at the Vikings' defensive front, they need that kind of interior presence to allow the edge rushers to do their jobs. Then we have Jacob Roberts, a linebacker who has been a tackling machine throughout his journey. Roberts spent time at Wake Forest and Central Arkansas, and everywhere he went, he produced. He is an instinctive player who fits the modern mold of an NFL linebacker, fast enough to cover ground laterally, but physical enough to stick his nose in the fan at the line of scrimmage. The Vikings are looking for depth at the second level, and Roberts provides exactly that. He is a player who can contribute on special teams immediately while developing into a rotational piece for Brian Flores' aggressive defensive scheme. These signings are not just random additions, they are part of a broader strategy to ensure that the Vikings have a competitive training camp. By securing these players now on reserve/future deals, the Vikings are essentially claiming their rights for the 2024 season, preventing other teams from snatching up high-potential developmental talent. This is the Moneyball approach that Kwesi Adofo-Mensah is famous for. He is looking for value in places where other teams might be overlooking it. Hutchings, specifically, is being viewed as a potential impact player because of his unique physical profile. There are not many human beings on the planet who possess his combination of raw strength and initial quickness off the ball. If he can translate that to the NFL level under the tutelage of the Vikings coaching staff, this could be one of those signings we look back on as a massive steal. The Vikings are operating with a sense of urgency because they know the division is getting tougher. With the Chicago Bears making waves under their new leadership with head coach Ben Johnson, the Vikings cannot afford to sit idle. Every roster spot is a battleground, and every signing is a message to the rest of the league that Minnesota is building something sustainable. These two players are hungry, they are talented, and they are now officially part of the Vikings' future. Stay tuned because the implications of these moves are much deeper than they appear on the surface.
When we transition into the analytical side of what these signings truly signify for the Minnesota Vikings, we have to look at the salary cap and the architectural design of the depth chart heading into the next league year. The beauty of the reserve future contract is that it provides the team with extreme financial flexibility. These players are signed to what are essentially league minimum deals that do not count against the current season's salary cap, but rather lock them in for the upcoming year's 90-man offseason roster. This allows Kwesi Adofo-Mensah to stockpile talent without the immediate pressure of a cap hit, giving the coaching staff months to evaluate film and prepare specific development plans for Jaylon Hutchings and Jacob Roberts. Let's talk about the Brian Flores factor. We all know that Flores runs one of the most complex, high-pressure defensive systems in the NFL. He demands versatility and high football IQ from his players. Jacob Roberts, with his background as a high-volume tackler, fits the profile of a linebacker who can be moved around the formation. Flores loves to disguise his looks, and having a linebacker who can drop into coverage or blitz through the A-gap is essential. Roberts' tape shows a player who is disciplined in his gap assignments, which is a non-negotiable trait in a Flores-led unit. On the other side, Jalen Hutchings addresses a glaring need for interior depth. The Vikings have been looking for more rotational bodies to keep their primary starters fresh. Hutchings is the type of player who can eat up double teams, which is a thankless job, but one that is vital for the success of the linebackers behind him. If Hutchings can occupy two blockers, it frees up guys like Ivan Pace Jr. to fly to the ball and make plays. This is the synergy that the Vikings are trying to create. Furthermore, we have to consider the rival league aspect. Many players who have come through the UFL or other alternative leagues have found massive success in the NFL because they have the benefit of extra game film and professional-level coaching. Hutchings isn't just a raw rookie, he is a player who has already faced professional competition and emerged as a standout. This maturity is something the Vikings front office values highly. They aren't just looking for athletes, they are looking for football players who have the mental toughness to survive the grind of an NFL season. The competitive landscape of the NFC North also dictates these types of moves. As mentioned, the Chicago Bears are pivoting into a new era with head coach Ben Johnson, which means the Vikings defense is going to be tested by innovative, high-octane offensive schemes twice a year. You cannot defend against that kind of talent with just 11 starters. You need a full stable of capable defenders who can step in at a moment's notice. The Vikings are also looking at a potential transition period for some of their veteran contracts, and having young, cheap talent like Hutchings and Roberts on the roster provides a safety net if they need to make tough financial decisions elsewhere. This is the essence of a competitive rebuild. You are constantly refreshing the bottom of the roster with players who have the ceiling to become starters. I have spoken to scouts who believe that Hutchings' leverage and power are legitimate NFL These